The Student Hotel started 10 years ago with a simple belief. Students deserve better. That's why we created inspiring, stylish student accommodation, a world away from cramped, moldy dorms and broken kitchens, where young people could really feel appreciated, find their purpose, and change the world. Very quickly, our guests started to call the Student Hotel home. Parents stayed with us, business travelers checked in, and freelancers worked from our lobbies. Our community grew, and we grew with them. We added purpose-built co-working to our hotels. We built theatres and swimming pools. We invited cool brands to come and open CrossFit gyms or five-star dining within our walls. We expanded our meeting and event spaces, and we made our lobbies cool places to hang out for everyone. And we did this while expanding all across Europe. We invented hybrid hospitality, where rooms are available for a day or a year, and all spaces are bookable or movable depending on the market or the time of the year. TSH came out of COVID showing the world that the hybrid hospitality model really does work. Society evolved and so did we. The need for genuine connection and positive change became a necessity rather than a nicety. We were never just for students or just a hotel. We were always a place where people from all walks of life can come together. Just like our community, we're embracing this change. We're using it as a platform to do more and express more. And it all starts with a name. It's time to say goodbye to the Student Hotel and say hello to the Social Hub. With just as much heart, soul, and ping pong as ever before, the Social Hub is our new name and sees our community through a new lens. Not only just as students, travelers, nomads, locals, or entrepreneurs, but as a single group with an aligned mindset, unified in their desire to make a positive impact. A like-minded community really making a difference. The Social Hub allows us to embrace who we truly are, a hub to learn, to stay, to work, and of course, with lots of play, connecting people through experiences and opening doors to cities like never before. And while this is a goodbye to the name the Student Hotel, the soul, the passion, the love, the values, the team, it all remains the same. But the Social Hub is who we have become and who we truly are. So please, come with us, with curiosity and playfulness. Let's together create a better society.
Buenas tardes. We're live from the Social Hub Barcelona Poblenou. Please welcome founder and CEO, Charlie MacGregor.
Welcome to the Social Hub, everybody. Wow. Fantastic. Look at you guys, man. Fucking hell. So, thank you for being here. I know some of you have traveled from far and wide, and I know that with all the planes being cancelled, it was a bit of a pain in the ass. So, thank you for making the effort. And I think I have to also say hello to all of the 16 hubs that we have online today. We have, right now, 4,000 people watching this presentation. So, hello, everybody! This building, this hub, is the future of TSH. It's the future of the Social Hub. We have over 3,000 square meters of co-working, 300 rooms, 2 pools, 2 bars, lots of restaurants, and of course, the theaters, the gyms, the meeting rooms, and the common spaces, all designed to meet and come together. For you guys and girls in the room, you get a tour later on, so please have a good look around. I'm really interested to hear your feedback. So, here we are, 10 years old, 16 properties open, 7 being built, over 10,000 rooms, and a community of 198 different nationalities. For me, this journey started some time ago, when I was 15 years old. It's hard to believe, I know, but it's 30 years ago now. Working in my dad's student housing company. And I had the nice task of going up and down the stairs, taking furniture and carrying rubbish out of his construction sites. But I remember asking him all that time ago, why are all the rooms the same? The student rooms were all small. They were all painted the same color, the same furniture, the same design, the same signs overall that said, don't do this, don't do that. You're going to be fined if you do this. And his answer was how him and the rest of the industry, and I think all of us, to be honest, thought about students 30 years ago. It's only students, right? Who cares? It was part of a rite of passage. Well, we did care. And the journey that I'm so excited to share with you today, and so proud to be able to share with you today, is all started with a dream. Students deserve better. My dad's here in the room today, so I can say, Dad, thank you very much. I learned a hell of a lot by working with you. But before I dive into the story, I want to go just a little bit back in time, if you're ready for that. So, as we just said, 30 years ago, the industry was looking quite different than it is now. It was really led by the universities renting buildings from property developers and asking those property developers to run them. I really remember it was a real pain when the students checked out of their rooms because you had to clean all the rooms. Sometimes you even had to rebuild the rooms because the students destroyed them all. So the industry decided to build student-proof rooms, spaces that could not be broken. There was no talk of community and definitely no common spaces. And why should there be, right? There's only students. Who cares? 20 years ago, when I moved to Holland, I discovered a market that was in real trouble. There was a 4 to 5 year long waiting list. All rooms were being delivered by housing corporations who were making a 20% loss on each and every project they delivered. It's not a good business model. There were no private companies working or even interested in this European student housing sector. And there were still no common spaces or communities. Students often lived in the black market then, and students staying in legal squats was also a big thing back then. 20 years ago, we didn't see this demographic as the next leaders and decision makers of our world. 10 years ago, we opened the first student hotel in Rotterdam. And it's funny to say now, but back then, I spent a lot of time really fighting against the planners, the architects, the builders, the financiers, absolutely everybody, because we wanted to put students and hotel guests walking through the same door. Everybody was absolutely terrified there would be chaos if you mixed a student with a hotel guest. Back then we didn't have much money, so when we did things, we did it properly. When we threw a party, we invited absolutely everybody. It was like a marketing campaign meets corporate hospitality, proper TSH style. We invited our students, our investors, our bankers, our lawyers, our officials, absolutely everybody. We put them into one room and we partied. And what we saw happen was obvious now, but back then it was a big thing. We loved being with different demographics. We had more fun. It was safer. We balanced each other out. It wasn't one demographic taking over, but a fun mix. It's much, much better. It's a representation of real life, and it really works. Back then, we really trusted we were onto something. By allowing travelers and students to walk through the same door, we were convinced it wasn't going to ruin us. It was going to make us. For me personally, I also changed a lot in this journey. I remember I was 32 years old. I was doing my second ever check-in and my first ever project in Europe. And this was back in 2008, before even the student hotel was born. And a mother came up to me. She was crying. She was saying goodbye to her daughter. She grabbed me by the shoulders. She looked me in the eye. And she asked me, "Are you a father?" I said, "Yes, I was." She cried even harder. But she said to me, "Then you will understand. Please take care of my daughter." Those words, that lady, that daughter, had a profound impact on me. And from that day forward, I stopped being a developer and I started being an operator, and one who promised to give students better. At TSH, we've always done things differently. We focused on what was good for our guests, and we made it work. We also invited the locals in to use our lobbies and connect with each other. We started to have real fun. We added co-working. We built theaters. We added swimming pools. We invited impactful, community-minded brands to open CrossFit gyms, restaurants and bars in our building. We made our lobbies cool places for everybody to be. Around this time, TSH also created a student housing platform, a community-based conference called the Class Foundation. This is a non-profit organization. We invited the peers from the industry, from the US, from the UK. We invited all the universities, investors, banks, and of course students to come and join us and share knowledge and experience together. We started to tell Amsterdam City and the rest of Holland, and then later other European cities, what young people needed and wanted in their buildings and in their cities. And of course, they wanted things like quality spaces, community, affordability. They wanted choice. They wanted better. The Class Foundation, and Kellyanne is here today, the Class Foundation, I'm very proud to say, is still going on. It's now Europe's largest platform with over 90 partners. We host a yearly event and we hold workshops and seminars all over the world, sharing data and best practices, helping cities to connect partners to provide better places for young people. By doing this, we have kick-started the whole student housing industry into doing the same, giving students better. And students today are treated more as guests than ever before. They really are the future generation. At TSH, we started to see an explosion of demand for our hotel rooms, from our hotel customers, from leisure and business travelers alike. We saw the rise of the digital nomad. We were the first with co-working in our buildings. It had never before been put into student residences or hotels. We were bringing people together, creating opportunities for people to connect and share ideas. I've had so many students and co-workers coming to pitch their ideas to me over the last few years. And when I see this coming together within the communities, it makes me excited about what is going on. We already had the spaces, we had the mindset, and with the places to say, this addition of co-working meant that the hybrid hospitality model was truly born. Now, we believe we are the founders and leaders in this space. And we believe that hybrid hospitality is here to stay. Because it's a model that works for businesses, for stakeholders, for our teams, and most importantly for you all, for our guests. And this is also why we feel we need to call ourselves a social hub. This is who we have become and who we truly are. So I want to tell you a little bit how the hybrid hospitality works. I've got 2 slides, I promise. So we define hybrid hospitality as multifunctional spaces where people play, learn, and stay and work together. They use the spaces at different times of the day or the year, and we bring the different communities together as well. And at TSH, we split the year into 2. So we start with the academic year, which is 10 months long. It starts in September and runs through to June. We add the summer months, July and August, of course. We have our 3 room types, so student rooms, 4-star hotel rooms, and co-living rooms. These are the 3 levers we can move around on our business model. Of course, we've got co-working and meeting and event space in F&B. This is all year long round. And what's great about the model, and what's so exciting, or at least I get excited by it, is because we can move these 3 levers up and down, these 3 room types, to move room allocation around, depending on the time of year or on the market conditions. So, quite simply said, we have a large student business when we need it, during the academic year, and we have a large hotel business during peak travel season. Pretty simple. What is even more fantastic about our community is that they use this space at different times of the day. This means our lobbies are always fun. We don't have any of the boring empty spaces that others do. Today, of course, we use prop tech to see how these spaces are being used, and we adapt each project with the latest learnings. Today, with the opening of Barcelona, you see the results of this, a truly blended space connected to all parts. That's why when we design a building, we literally draw a heart on the plans, on our lobbies. We design our lobbies to be that beating heart where everybody comes together. If we look back over the last 10 years, I can absolutely hand on heart say that we've had a lot of fun. We've had a lot of learning, staying, working, and playing together. And TSH was growing and thriving, and by 2019, we had secured all of our 23 properties in 8 European countries that we have today. Everybody liked the concept. At that time, we were also getting ready to rebrand. But of course, then, the unthinkable happened. You had to have a presentation with COVID in it, didn't we? So COVID proved to be an enormous challenge for everybody, to be honest. But the hospitality industry was especially hard hit. Its impacts are still being felt today. TSH saw a huge test for our hybrid model. We had a massive drop in revenues and customers, literally overnight. We had to adapt and protect our resident customers who were sometimes scared, sometimes trapped in the buildings or in the cities or in the countries. Our staff did an amazing job who were on the front line. They were looking after many COVID cases within the building. And this is also on top of their own personal challenges with COVID. But our teams did amazingly well. We were really a place to call home in the toughest of times. We even had our highest ever community score during this period. During COVID, we had to use our model in anger for the first time. This was the ultimate test for hybrid hospitality. So we moved our hotel lever all the way down to the smallest allocation of hotel rooms we could possibly have. We moved our student lever all the way up, and we managed to fill those rooms. During COVID, we remained open. We were able to bounce back quicker than others when lockdowns lifted. For me and the industry, COVID showed us that we were on the right path. It proved that the hybrid model really worked. We outperformed the industry during and coming out of COVID. We also saw the industry getting into long stay, getting into co-working. Hybrid hospitality is even a buzzword today. We used the crisis to take a step back, to reload TSH, prepare for the future, to come out of lockdown period with many new ideas. I think, as you can see by now, we're a company that doesn't stay still. We're not very static. We're constantly evolving. And as societal changes have changed post-pandemic lockdowns, so have we. COVID accelerated changes like working away from home, working at a local hotel, or co-working. It allowed us all to be digital nomads. It made communities stronger and showed us that experience and connection is what we really want when we travel. At the Social Hub, we continue to mature, and we see a great future for our business. This year, we went to find new shareholders to help us grow for the next 10 years. I'm very proud to say that we found, together with our existing shareholders, APG, an amazing new partner in GIC, who has just recently come on board. But of course, with a new partner, this means we need to say goodbye to an old partner. We have to say goodbye to the team led by Vincent Rouget from Airmont. I know Vincent's watching online, so Vincent. Vincent, you and your team have helped us grow from 3 hotels to 23 hotels. I've really enjoyed every single minute working with you. Thank you so very much. But it's time to say goodbye, Vincent. And it's time to move on with JSC and APG to grow the Social Hub. We are often asked by many cities and universities around Europe and beyond if we would open a TSH there. And now together we're able to do this, to continue to grow the community, because that's what's really important. Community and the positive impact we can make together. I want to share with you a couple of those community stories. Our community is 10,000 people strong. We have 1 million guests. That's huge numbers. We have made and will continue to make major investments in our community teams, our ambassadors, as well as our alumni programs. We have lots of new projects which we're going to be sharing with you over the next 12 months. But for now, I want to tell you about 2 people who I think represent our community really well. My first story, it's a bit close to my heart, is a hero student from South Korea called Jae-hoon Chu. When Jae-hoon checked into TSH Amsterdam, he landed in a community kitchen with 11 other nationalities. His new buddies all took time cooking for each other from their own countries. Jae-hoon felt connected like never before. But after many months, Jae-hoon told his new friends the truth about a lie that he had been telling them. He told them that his mother did not die in a car accident, as he said. She died of depression. She committed suicide. He explained that in South Korea, suicide rates are exceptionally high, and people find it very hard to relax and connect in the way that he had done so at TSH. Jae-hoon was so inspired by his start at TSH that he came to speak to me in a bed talk. He came to ask me for help in setting up a charity called Stella Foundation, which was the name of his mum, with the goal of going back to South Korea and telling people and helping people be happier. TSH helped him kickstart this project with some funding. We set him off after a big party from Amsterdam. He rode his bike halfway across Africa, raising funds all along the way. The Stella Foundation is still going today and is a huge part of him. He has touched and affected in a positive way many, many lives. This story, I'm pretty sure you'll agree, is pretty amazing. The second person I want to tell you about is also pretty special. Pasquale. He's a member from our Bologna hub. Pasquale is the founder of Forno Brisa. This is a bakery that believes in sustainability, community, and authenticity. They do things completely different there. They've just applied to be a B Corp, but back in 2020, he launched a record-breaking crowdfunding campaign on the Mama Crowd platform. He raised 1.2 million euros. He has shops today selling bread to bakeries and hotels, but he also runs a bakery for refugees. When we got to know Pasquale, that we share the same values and ideas on community, we decided from his office that they would become much more active members of our community. And today, together with our GM, Michael, and our head chef, Gianluca, we don't just buy bread and sandwiches from him. We host coffee and bread academies and other events around sustainable food. TSH is helping him now grow into other new markets. A $1 million bakery business launched over cappuccinos from our Bologna lobby. Pretty exciting. And we have hundreds of stories like this. In this room right now, online right now, there are so many of these stories connected to this talk within our hubs. And I want to thank you all for being part of this community. To please keep doing what you're doing and let us help you connect even better so you can achieve your goals even easier. You really inspire us. You inspire each other. You help celebrate. And when you celebrate together, that creates an enormous motivation experience for everybody. It's why we create these spaces. As well as our alumni from co-working and our student communities, we also have our ambassadors. And these people are really the connective tissue of TSH. Together, these 200 ambassadors form a European network of influential change makers in the digital, creative, and in education industries. They share our values and we unite in making the world a better place. Each hub today has those ambassadors there, so please say hello to them. You're going to meet amazing people like Gior. You're here, Gior? Hello. It's amazing what you've been doing as a queer design activist with your fashion brand. And if there's not enough what he's already done, he's also the founder of the queer music video streaming platform Pride. Over these past few years, we've provided each other with platforms to make sure our voices are heard. Together, we've launched a retail line. We've organized Pride events in Rotterdam and Amsterdam. And of course, you were a much anticipated guest at our bedtime talks. Thank you, Gior. And to all of our ambassadors, thank you very much. Your help and dedication is really, really appreciated. Thank you. So as the social hub, we will grow these ambassadors. We're going to double down on these ambassadors because they add so much value to the community, helping us raise and address issues together. Many of our community meet around food. We've always had kitchens and used that to connect. I think that's evident from the stories of Jae-hoon and Pasquale. So we thought, or maybe Frank and the team thought, how do we connect these things together? How do we get even more social? How do we use our events to really connect? And they came up with the idea to launch today, and I'm very proud to announce today that we can launch a brand new event that's going to be launched pretty soon, called the Community Table. Here we will host social events where we share food, have conversations, and brainstorm together. A place where we have time to share passions and initiatives. These events will be led by our community teams in all of our hubs. The community tables will be for everybody and all, and I truly hope we will meet around these tables because we need to talk to help inspire each other with success stories and try to solve other issues. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of issues to discuss and a lot of challenges in society. Many of our ambassadors are targeting prejudices like what Gior is doing in the community. These community tables will become forums for discussing really important societal issues, but also, how do we tackle them? Tonight, as we are here in Barcelona, we have to be mindful that not everybody is as fortunate enough as us to be celebrating here in the social hub. We just need to turn on the TV to see the many conflicts that are happening all around the world. And these are the ones we see, huh? There are far too many conflicts going on that we hear nothing at all about. We see the effects of global warming, economic breakdown, many other problems, human rights abuses. These issues are causing hundreds of millions of people to flee their homes. And I've seen this firsthand when I started getting involved in the refugee crisis. Back in 2015, when we saw the Syrian refugee crisis hit Europe, we at TSH were offering rooms to the government, sorting out clothes to send to the camps. Then on September the 2nd, the body of Alan Kurdi, a 3-year-old Syrian, washed up on a beach. I'm sure you'll all remember that image. For me, it changed my life. Very quickly afterwards, I went to Lesbos with Adil. Adil's here in the room tonight, and some other friends. We started to volunteer. We started helping people get from boats to safety. We were giving out food, giving out warmth. We saw so many other grassroots organizations all working together, all focused on helping others. At that time, there were 10,000 people arriving every single day on the beaches of Lesbos. We started an NGO called Movement on the Ground with the goal of making a positive difference. Ali, who's also in the room tonight, now works for Movement on the Ground as a camp director. Ali, you were one of those people arriving. And at the time, we all saw what was needed, and we acted. As Movement on the Ground, we built pop-up refugee camps. We worked with the government, and we asked for volunteers to come and help us. I have been with dozens of the TSH team members and other companies many times to volunteer in Lesbos. It's really hard work, but it's so rewarding, doing everything you can to help people get to safety. We started to ask the resident community, the refugees, amazing people like you, Ali, to help us build the camps, to help us run the football or kids' activities that we were doing, to help us manage the food or clothes distribution. We asked people like Ali to help us run the camps that we were building. We trusted the community, and we were repaid tenfold with effort, kindness, and understanding. We call what we are doing Camp to Campus, where everybody becomes involved in building and running their environment. This Camp to Campus method is not just better for refugees and locals alike, it's cheaper to run. As it's a community, it's safer for everyone. Before the huge fire in the camp in Moria in Lesbos, where over 23,000 people were staying, we had rented the whole patch of land, the whole hillside next door, and we built from scratch a Camp to Campus. We housed and looked after more than 5,000 people under this philosophy. And while the camp next door, Moria, was being labeled as the worst camp in the world, our Camp to Campus, was being hailed as the best camp in Europe. It was a community, all working together to help each other in dire situations. Today, Movement on the Ground is busy in 3 camps in Greece. We've also just been asked to roll out our Camp to Campus model in Holland. And our dream is that this model becomes the new global footprint on how to run refugee camps. On top of this, we're also providing dozens of rooms to unaccompanied minors, together with the social hub. These times for me at Movement, and for all of us at TSH, have been absolutely amazing. It shows that by connecting, by trusting each other, amazing things can and do happen. It has truly been one of the most enriching experiences of my life. At Student Hotel, we had a mission. Students deserve better. I believe we have played a massive role in making this happen. As the social hub, it's time to look forward and set a new mission, a new why. And for me, it's clear what that should be. Together, we can create a better society. I say it again. Together, we can create a better society. Now, I know that this sounds lofty and unrealistic, but it's based on what we have seen with our own eyes these last 10 years. People coming from all over the world, from all demographics, learning, staying, working, and playing together. We see that by connecting to each other, to simply connecting human beings to each other, makes a positive difference. As a social hub, we want to double down, bringing people together. And we want to have a blast while we do so. The real secret of our success has been to trust our community. We see that also with Movement on the Ground. We're going to trust each other within the hubs. We respect each other, and we help each other when needed, whether that be to simply hold open a door or say hello to each other as we pass. This trust is tangible in each and every hub. It's the secret sauce to why our buildings buzz with excitement. If you want to come and join this community, please do so. You can simply become a member. Bring a friend, and let's connect together. So what do the next 10 years look like for the social hub? Well, We know that our community has demands and high standards when it comes to having a good quality of network of hubs so they can come and go. We also know that they're very focused on environment, social, and governance goals, ESG. And we want to be an industry leader here, especially on the S for social. We have already committed to science-based targets, higher standards of BREEAM and GRESB and other industry environmental labels, and we're going to keep investing in our assets to make them even more sustainable. We're going to live up to our new name. We're going to be really social. And as such, tonight, I'm really proud to announce that we will be applying to become a B Corp next year. And this is huge for us, huge for the industry, if we can pull it off. The bar is really high, as are our expectations. We're going to continue to grow with plans to double the portfolio over 50 hubs. And we will, of course, be adding and increasing co-working to all of our assets, bringing all of the hubs and facilities up to what we see around us in Barcelona and Madrid today. We're going to double down on technology with the launch of a new customer app, so hybrid hospitality is really in the palm of our hands. So there's a lot that we know is coming, but there's also a lot that we don't know. In autumn of 2019, if you'd asked me or told me what was to come, I would never have believed you. This team, our community, worked so hard under the most challenging of circumstances. We've not just survived as a company and organization, but we've really thrived through once-in-a-century pandemic. We've brought in new people, broken ground on new projects, opened new buildings, implemented a brand new technical backbone, totally rebranded. We've been busy. We've done a lot. But thinking about this and what we've achieved as business not as usual doesn't really make me tired. It gets me excited for the future and what we can do together as a team, as ambassadors, as partners, as guests, as investors, and as a community. Because in the end, we're spurred on by hope. One of my favorite thinkers on this topic is the Dutch philosopher Rutger Bregman. He writes in his book, Humankind, A Hopeful Story, if we believe most people are decent and kind, everything changes. If you haven't read it, please do so. It's really, really inspiring. We have seen at the Social Hub that we cross barriers, we cross thresholds to provide spaces for communities to make an impact, to set ambitious goals and to not think in walls or rooms, to welcome people from all walks of life, all ages, all races, all demographics, connected by a single mindset. Together, as I finish up, let's please take the opportunity for the next phase of our journey together. And I'd like to do it with a small challenge. And I know because networking is sometimes a bit weird and awkward, that please speak to someone you don't know tonight and take a minute to ask them, how can I help you? How can we help each other? Because our journey starts here together. Thank you.